Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tyler Barton, and I am entering the YouTube sphere to bring my perspective to some content that I think is either lacking from YouTube or has a very small niche in YouTube that could use more voices propagating material for it. Some of the things that you can expect to find here as this channel progresses will be videos regarding technology. That's going to include computers, electronics, different technological ideas, so technological philosophies as well. I'm a classical music performer as well, so you'll find classical music reviews or discussions here as well from time to time. We will have philosophy discussions. Some of the things that you believe influence the decisions that you make and your opinions that you hold, and so I would like to introduce some of my perspectives on that as well. We'll also talk about some products as well that I find useful. Some products may serve me very well, some products may not serve me as well, and I'll kind of give you some ideal use case scenarios and limitations that you might be able to expect from certain products that I own or products that I might find that I think will be interesting. We're also going to have some discussions of current events on occasion. For example, I could even start with the Palestinian state now having an embassy at the Vatican. Highly surprising news that I learned today. We will also talk about photography, which is one of my main hobbies, and travel as well, which is something I don't do nearly often enough, unfortunately. Time and finances kind of prohibit me from that at the moment. Alright, a little bit of my background. I'm a classically trained singer, and I also am a photographer by vocation. Those are the two things that I do professionally at the moment. I also teach voice and piano, and I teach tenets of photography as well to aspiring photographers or to photographers who want to market their art in different ways or in new places. I have a background in musical theater. That's what I did before I got into classical voice. And I also have done a great deal of electronics repair and computer builds and things like that. I have done that professionally as well. I repaired iPhone screens and Apple devices for a long time before I got out of that business. It was a tedious job to do. My inspiration or my purpose for being on YouTube is to create informative and entertaining content. Most of the entertaining content that I digest from YouTube is usually rooted in some sort of informative stance. So I'm usually looking for information or doing research on a product or a service or good. And the reviews and the information that I best remember and most enjoy is that which provides the information that I'm looking for, in addition to doing so in an entertaining manner. I hope to, through my perspective on life and through my experience in life, bring something of the same thing to YouTube itself in the niche areas that I feel that I will fill in this medium. My content, however, is not going to be as disjuncted as it might first appear. I hope to use my experience and use my perspective and hopefully my witty humor to tie all of it together in sort of a seamless experience for my hopeful subscribers in the future. If you're coming to YouTube from another social channel where you know me, welcome aboard. This should be a thrilling ride with video garnering much of media attention today among audiences across all demographics. I'm kind of excited to see what the future holds for me here in the video space. I also, before I finish, I would like to talk about a few YouTube channels that I enjoy. You might find them equally enjoyable, and you might go enjoy their channels as well. I'll leave links in the description, or I'll put links at the end of the video, something like that, depending on how good I find myself to be at editing, I suppose. First of all, I want to start off with a channel from Denmark called My Playhouse. It's hosted by Morten Hjort. Morten is a data officer at a company where he works, and he often does videos on computers and servers and virtualization across servers as well, which is a very interesting topic and something that was really lacking in YouTube with regard to quality content. He has sort of carved out a niche for himself in that regard, and I have enjoyed watching his channel grow. When I began subscribing to his channel, I think he had 758 subscribers, and within a year or two, he has gained, I think the last numbers were more than 18,000 subscribers. So his channel growth has been exciting to behold, and I think that his quality of content and his self-deprecating humor and the other projects on his channel, for example, renewable or sustainable energy and home improvements and things of that nature, also contribute to his success and the diversity of content that he has, appealing to more subscribers. I would, if you're interested in any of those things, I would readily recommend that you subscribe to his channel as well. I also, let's see where my list here. I also enjoy Kelsey Bang's channel very much as well. If I had to think off the top of my head of the person who does the best job with promoting a synchronized social media experience across all of their social media channels, it would be Kelsey Bang and her husband Jacob Harris. They consistently deliver content that complements content from every other social channel across Twitter, Instagram, her personal blog, as well as YouTube. And they have only recently gotten into YouTube as content creators, but the content they release is very high quality. It's highly edited. It's very well edited. They use multiple cameras. They have great audio. They add music within their videos. They give a very high production quality to their videos for such a short period of time that they've been producing video content. And I'm exceptionally proud of the growth that they have experienced through that. They still don't have as many subscribers as I think they should. So if you're interested in fashion and travel and all things Disney and creative projects at home and just vlog style adventures from a young couple, this is the perfect channel for you to follow and subscribe to. Another channel that I enjoy very much is called It's My Natural Color, hosted by Tom Smith. He has been making videos for ages now, and I first stumbled across his channel, I believe in 2010. I want to talk about what he covers first because it's very important to why I actually started following his channel. He covers Macintosh devices, or Apple devices, I should say, and he started with PowerPC Apple devices, and PowerPC still remains a very prominent devotion of his channel. Now, the reason that I started watching his videos was because my very first laptop was a PowerBook G4 aluminum version. I believe, a 2005, 2004 version. And at the time, I didn't know there was a difference between PowerPC Macintosh and Intel Macintosh. And this was well after the switch from PowerPC had occurred. And when I learned of that, his channel was very useful in understanding whether or not the PowerPC architecture was still viable even in 2010 at the time. And of course, I followed his channel off and on over the years, and then have a few years ago become a subscriber and began to look at his channel with much renewed interest. He covers home networking, professional audio, of course, Apple devices, Hackintosh related things as well. So his channel is really, as his slogan says, the ultimate in variety technology. And I would encourage you to follow his channel if you have any interest in that sort of thing. My next channel that I have on my list is a bit odd because it's now on hiatus the creator has now gone on to do to accomplish other endeavors in life, and has left his channel behind because it took too much of his time. It's a very bold move for people to do, and you don't often hear about it, especially nowadays on YouTube. But it's the PowerPC Hub, and much the same as before. I'm very interested in this channel for its continued attention to PowerPC-based Macintosh machines. They actually have great use cases for the modern era of computing, and he does upgrades, modifications, hacks, all sorts of things to PowerPC Macs, and things you wouldn't even consider off the top of your head. And it makes it a marvelous channel for a repository for that sort of information. And of course, it's very entertaining as well. And I really hope that it starts back up again in the future. His audience is, of course, quite desperate now that the channel has come to a stopping point, and it really doesn't leave a lot of quality information or quality content on the PowerPC architecture, especially from such a young person. It's just a marvelous channel. If you're into the PowerPC Mac experience and the elegance of design from that era in the Apple history, I would definitely encourage you to subscribe to that channel as well. Now, one of the things that people may or may not know about me is my use of Linux in my everyday computing world. I came from the Mac OS X environment as well as Windows, and I shifted to Linux about 5 or 6 years ago now. And today, Linux is my pretty much 95% of the time in use operating system across multiple computers. It's usually my operating system of choice because of its speed. But the way that I got into Linux, I didn't just stumble across it and try it out. I was tutored in it very well by the NixiePixel channel. Now, NixiePixel has become dormant for a very long time now. The creator behind it had some health issues and stopped creating. And she's kind of on hiatus, if I understand correctly. And if there was any change in her conditions or her circumstances, I think she would return to video production. But as it is, the channel is dormant. But you can find a great many tutorials on getting into Linux, which help you use later versions of Linux very well, even though many of the tutorials are centered around the 10.04 long-term release or the 11 series for Ubuntu. They are still very useful for other tasks that you might encounter in Linux as well, more advanced terminal work especially. And I find them to be excellent resources. No one else, in my opinion, has produced better quality information with better quality video production than NixiePixel did. I think everything else has kind of been beneath that, and it has not been regular at all. I hope that I can change that. We're going to do some tutorials and things of that nature if I see audience demand for that. So I shall give some of that in my channel as well. Then there's Hak5. When I got into NixiePixel's channel, Hak5 was kind of a natural following point from that. I went ahead and subscribed to their channel very quickly because they delved down deeper into more things in which I had interest than NixiePixel did. So it was a very natural progression for me. To this day, Hak5 is still going strong. I think they're in their 23rd, 24th season. Don't quote me on that. They're several seasons ahead of when I started watching them. But if it has to do with the internet and it has to do with your privacy online, Darren Kitchen and Shannon Morris, the hosts of Hak5, are covering it. There is no other place, as far as I'm concerned, for video content that gives the same breadth of information and in such depth as Hak5. If you're into information security or penetration testing or hacking threats across multiple platforms and across multiple services, it is your one destination on the internet. You hardly need any others. And then finally, my final channel that I really enjoy on YouTube that I'll mention here is Tony and Chelsea Northrup's photography channel. Tony and Chelsea Northrup are the authors of the number one reviewed photography book on Amazon. It's called Stunning Digital Photography. They've also written books on Photoshop, Lightroom, and some other ones that I'm forgetting at the moment. But if you want to learn how to use any camera to get the best results possible for images, you could hardly do better than them. There's a lot of photography content on YouTube, but so much of it either assumes that you are well advanced in your photography knowledge, or it's very low quality in that it tries to sell you something that you don't need, or it tries to lure you in to a system that you have little use for, especially as an amateur photographer. Tony and Chelsea Northrup's reviews and advice are centered around value for their consumers. Yes, they do sell books, but with over 500,000 YouTube subscribers, I don't think they quote unquote need to sell books. They're great books, and I would encourage you to purchase them. But their channel alone provides so much information on how to use your camera the best way that you can. They teach you from the basics, and then they teach you to apply those things to whatever camera you have. So if you have your cell phone, if you have a point-and-shoot camera, if you have a DSLR that you got as a gift that you have no idea how to use, any of those, they teach you the tenets of photography and how to apply them to those cameras. They have tutorials for specific camera models. If you got a Nikon D750 yesterday, they have a tutorial on how to use almost every function of the Nikon D750. If you dislike reading manuals, they probably have a video review for your camera, depending on if it's a higher end camera or if it's a point and shoot. If it's a point and shoot, it's likely they won't have a review for it. But it's still worth the effort to see what the tenets of photography are and how to implement them. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this first video of mine on YouTube. Hopefully the future ones won't be quite so rambling as this one, and hopefully I'll have more experience in doing semi-scripted videos, or at least planned videos. In closing, I would like to let you know about a few immediate projects that I've got ideas to use with the channel. Because I have a background in computer repair and electronics and things like that, I tend to amass a great deal of spare parts for computers and things like that. And I have quite a few of them. And one of the first projects I'm going to try to do is see if I have enough spare parts to make a surprise run-of-the-mill build for a computer on the desk, and see if it works out. Take you guys along for the ride on that one. Also, in May of this year, I'll be going to Italy, so I will be vlogging a little bit of that, and probably uploading a little bit of performance footage as well. Some other projects that I have a project that involves a server, an actual rack server, so that'll be neat to see. I haven't been able to use it to its full capacity, and I got some components to put in it that will help us out with that, and I'll take you guys along for that. Some other things that I hope to do, I'm going to do some audio related things, especially with regard to Linux. That's kind of a niche on the internet that is very widely unfilled with information. There's a lot of misinformation on it as well, and I hope to clear some of that up with a video or two. And then beyond that, I don't have a whole lot of ideas that are set in stone. So if you have any ideas that you would like to see come from my channel, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll have a look at it, and we'll see if it's feasible. Well, I think that wraps it up. If you enjoyed today's content, feel free to subscribe. If you're excited for new content, feel free to subscribe as well. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, if you don't like your life, if you hate the weather, you can hit the dislike button. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.